a single laptop screen right now.
Oh, dude, I love minions.
Mm-hmm. Good, great.
So, Voss, while these three rest, yeah, I just only wanted to go back from break, and Rakaf's Will's like, yeah, but my setup, my battle station. Mr. Voss, as the other three have 3 points of exhaustion each from drowning within a dream, which is a great album name, by the way, for your prog rock band. Voss, what is it you want to do? I think you want to do some political dealings.
Well, the first thing I wanted to do was speak to the room of sleepy boys. And hold on, I got notes.
We had a whole break of time for you to get ready.
No, I have them here. Yeah, you gave us a week to scheme, but then because we didn't play last week, that turned into 2 weeks of scheming.
Yes.
And my outlook and plan on everything.
And time has actually
changed.
passed in world as well. I gave you a couple of days. Yeah. So you've had time to scheme.
Things have changed.
Okay.
Anyways, what I would like to say to all of you is that I think it would be foolish for us to kill everyone simultaneously. I think that's a bad idea.
Yep.
Like, really bad. Even though I was totally on board with it previously, I think that is like a one-way ticket to getting dead.
Yeah.
All right, Rofi agrees.
I just want to make sure that we all the everybody is unified.
Because I was thinking, how would we even do it? It's very difficult to do. And I think the best way, if we ended up ever needing to go down that route, would be to construct a watertight meeting chamber and fill 2 bags of holding with water and then have someone sacrifice themselves.
You don't know what a bag of holding is! I'm gonna strike that thought process.
It's like a common magic item.
Nope. This ain't Faerun, bitch!
Not in Yav.
Move on.
We need a bag of holding.
What I was saying then is we would have a meeting and then just get all the witches that we have in our employ to cast Mold Earth and fill the entire thing in and just suffocate everybody. I have a list of horrible ways to die at the hands of cantrips.
But your plan is not to murder. So what is your plan?
It is, but just not to murder on such a large scale. Because if you were to view Narashiro as a hydra with many heads all fighting each other for dominance right now, if we were to sever them all simultaneously, we would kill the beast, which is not what we want to do. So...
Your metaphors are strange, Voss.
It's not a metaphor.
I'm confused.
What we need to do is...
We are all like half dead while he's doing this.
Yeah,
like so much information.
Captive audience.
We need to remove certain individuals from the equation first. I think it stands to our benefit that Kato survives for a while, because if she and the leadership of that sect were to be destroyed, the church wouldn't just follow us. They would absolutely go down dying and swinging and killing many of our people with theirs. That's kind of their whole deal.
Unless we can convince them that it was someone else who took their head.
Yes, but I have a better idea. If we align ourselves with Kato for now, we unify as many of the people as we can. We go after Tenuma and the traitors, of course, and eliminate the leaders of the Weavers without actually killing all of them. We simply would send a small strike force to do it, and then we hopefully can get the rest of the Weavers to align with us, but if we can't, then there's nothing we can do about that. And then, with everyone joined together, we fight against the Chitine, eliminate the threat from below, stabilize, and then use this renewed momentum to go after the Sun Elves. And ideally, in a perfect world, Kato would simply die a martyr, in the war against the Sun Elves. In an imperfect world, she is killed. But ultimately, our peoples would be unified at that point. That's the only way our society survives, I think.
Right. Pokes Raka. Raka, you awake?
Something else worth mentioning as well is because the city is very fragmented right now, I feel it would serve us well to get each area in the city to basically decide on someone to represent them so that we can get reports from every part of the city and society to know what's happening where. In doing so, we'll also lay the groundwork for a republic, which I feel is a much more effective system of government than what we've had in the past. Of course, we'll still have an empress, we'll still have a daimyo, we'll still have a shogun in charge of matters of war, but giving the people some semblance of a voice is the only way to assure change.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yuna, what are your thoughts?
I don't like all the talk about killing Kato, if I'm being entirely honest. But overall, I agree with the idea.
It's not even to say that she will absolutely have to be killed, but it's just to say killing her now with everyone else is a bad idea. And if it should come to that,
It's more that we have to kill the position she's in, not herself.
precisely.
So here's a little bit of lore that may have gone over some of your heads at some point. In the original way Narashiro was set up, there was a daimyo at the top, technically under the queen, which is the usurper queen, who is your god. The daimyo was not meant to have military control. They're meant to be a kind of spiritual and leader of the city in everything but military. That's why you have the shogun separately. But Lithira shirked that by having the mad priestess under her, who was essentially a puppet. And then that exactly what Voss said was happening. That's why Lithira's high circle were pretty much represented each part of the city, more or less. You're planning on going about it a different way, but there is precedent for this.
Okay.
We're also planning on having more segregation of dudes rather than just two people, because then you have a situation where there's a single puppet.
Yep. Totally.
Well, if you're in agreement, Yuna, then I'm in agreement.
Sounds good.
So in that case, what we need to do is convince... Well, yes, that's what you need to do. But what we collectively need to do to advance our goals is to inform Kato of Tenuma and the Sun Elf affiliation and organize a way to take her down. It's possible that the priestesses may have access to some sort of magic that will enable us to do battle with them without a full-scale conflict.
Then I suggest that we invite Kato in a few days' time when we've had a chance to recover to meet with us.
I think we should also try and negotiate with Kato, not completely eliminating the Weavers. Like you said, we can kind of put them under heel.
They've simply just been tricked into being puppets very much the same way the Mad Priestess was. They are tools.
I think it would be a
used.
mistake to try to make an example out of all of them, right?
Agreed.
Yes.
We don't need people to simply fear those in power. We need them to feel a genuine sense of conviction to help their people. And striking fear into their hearts is not necessarily the way to do that.
No, it usually doesn't hold.
So with that in mind, what's your move now?
I think we send someone to talk to Kato, not to talk to her, not to tell her, but to invite her to speak with us in a few days when we're all well enough to. Sending word is a detriment.
That will probably be Voss.
Yeah, and Kato loves me. All I'm saying is Kato just hates the idea of a strong, independent man being in any type of power.
Yeah, it's not that you broke her heart or anything.
Well, maybe if it wasn't so fragile, it wouldn't have been an issue. She can take her toxic femininity and get out of here. I don't owe her anything.
Wow.
Pretty relevant, to be fair. So, as the rest of them sleep, Voss, are you going to go see Kato?
I'm not going to go personally, but I will send a messenger just to request her presence in like 2 days.
Okay.
We've had a chance to recover. If we just rest straight for 2 days, are we going to have...
You're going to have to rest for 3 days. You have 3 points of exhaustion.
Okay.
Yes.
You can rest for 2 days and get 2 points gone.
No, please tell them to come in 3 days.
Sorry, I thought it was only 2. Yeah, I'll tell them to come in 3 days. My friends are very
Here? To your school?
No, to the home. To the home, please.
Sure. Whatever.
I don't want her seeing a war camp as the first thing she sees.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll help her understand. But anyways, that's fine. We'll tell her to come to the house. Just swing on by. Jariko will pour you a glass of lemonade and we'll talk politics.
Who are you sending? Just a generic...
I'll send Kikiwa, actually.
Okay.
Like a message of some importance.
Yeah. You send her off. She comes back after an appropriate amount of time, and will actually go to Voss, and will say, there was quite the display when I got up there. The message was delivered, but there was a forum. She was announcing something. Big display, lots of priestesses.
What was she announcing?
I didn't stay for the specifics. I thought being fleet of foot might be more advantageous if you wanted to go and see for yourself.
Thank you. That's wise. Perhaps I will see what exactly she's gotten up to in the past few days. Thank you, in any case. Seems we've got our work kind of cut out for us these days, just looking around at all the new recruits and other people that are just around.
I am curious what the plan is with these soldiers.
Well, they'll be trained. And I feel in the coming days and months, possibly even years, we will have no shortage of a need for capable warriors. Especially if we eventually do find ourselves face to face with the Sun Elves.
I will keep that in mind.
But in any case, I guess I will go see what Kato's up to. You just continue training with the recruits as you have been. I leave them in your capable hands while I'm away.
One capable hand.
I guess that's
You just
poor
stop
choice.
saying the word
Poor choice of words. Capable hand. What I would ask that you do actually is if you could assess their ability. As you are well aware, many of us are more inclined towards different weapons and fighting styles than others.
You
Like
want
you and I, for
everyone
instance.
to be more... Most schools like this would teach everyone in one weapon. You want it to be more fluid.
Well, I can teach them how to wield the Nodachi and fight the same way that I do. And I trust that you may be able to teach them a thing or two about more subtle ways of combat.
Okay. Message received. And she will
In any case,
strut
I
off.
suppose I should be off.
Yeah.
Perfect. All
You
right.
going up?
I'll just go see what's going on. Yeah, like I'm not gonna like march into the center of camp and be like, "Yo, Kato, what's up?" Like I'm just gonna go in that area.
Of note, and you weren't here for this. Going kind of from your part of town, which is the most damage and has the most rebuilding to go. The rest of Narashiro, at least the part that you live among, the nobility and stuff, is pretty much as it was. There's no people hiding in houses so much now. There's a little bit more guard presence, especially on any way that would get you further into the city, where things are a little more tumultuous. But when you go back up to where Kato's little camp has been, it's less a war camp and more business as usual, aside from a large gathering in the spider silk tent-like structure that she's been leading from. When you approach, whatever has been happening is in full swing, and you kind of hear the end of a speech. Kato, with a couple of other priestesses up on it's like the stand of a statue. The statue, as like many of these, is just kind of a beautiful drow woman, you know. Those figures are everywhere within the city. And the speech Kato gives, no helmet or anything. She actually is putting the helmet down. Like, and I will be leading with no masks. The city has changed, and we must change also. And that is why, from now on, I will be leading us here as head of the new church of Idrith. The old priestesses will fight and squabble. They do not fight for you, they fight for themselves. This will be a church of the people, for the people, commanding protection as we have been securing in these confusing times. And the crowd is loving this idea. The other soldiers are... Because all the city guard always wear masks. They take their masks off in solidarity. You're probably even wearing a mask right now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
They're taking their masks off their helmets in solidarity, and the bit of cheering and agreement that happens. And then the speech continues and winds down, and I'm not going to do a whole speech. But I imagine you hang around to try and find her afterwards, or are you going to slink back away?
I feel like it's kind of somewhere in the middle. Like, I'm not going to go to try to talk to her, but I'm not really going to slink away. I'm just
going to hang around suspiciously?
Yeah. I guess you could consider it suspicious, and I'm literally just standing there, like, observing what's happening.
Do you take your mask off?
No.
So, you know, a bit later, as this is kind of winding down, and like I said, this isn't a war camp anymore, so people kind of go back to the markets, to organizing things. Kato is talking with what seems to be her second in command, a priestess who, when you were here before, you may have seen. She's wearing a mixture of the ivories and the greens of the two different sides of the church. And wielding a staff in one hand that is very simple. But she kind of leaves that conversation to walk over to you when the crowd is a little bit smaller. And there's no bow or anything like that. There's a little bit of a paladin nod, I suppose. And she just kind of is at rest. And says, I'm glad you are here to see this move I've made. I promise I do not move towards power because I desire it. That's why I think it is the right decision.
That's very wise of you. Where no one in a position of power has ever wanted it, as we can all attest to.
I think many in our city want power too much. And that power corrupts, and even though some people would say that is the will of the Queen, I will try and keep that from our people so that they may be safe in their own homes from such chaos.
It's very noble of you.
What is it that you desire? Why are you here?
I simply heard there was some type of show happening in this part of the city and thought I would see what was going on.
There's always a show. There are brilliant theatres around. Everything back in full swing. There might be still some struggles with food and materials, but we do not need to worry about such things yet. It's not dire. A little rationing will do some of these people good.
Perhaps a lesson of discipline is something welcome in society these days.
It will encourage people to make the right choices.
If you truly wish to see how back to normal things are, perhaps you should come to the Alchemy District sometime.
I heard that it was rather damaged. But that you were
could say
doing
that.
quite well.
Well, someone had to.
Do not think I do not see what you are doing. But there may be value in you training the whelps of the world.
Well, I would remind you that even the most ancient and mightiest dragons were whelps at one point.
She does kind of look away, just sort of to someone else. And will say that it was good seeing you. May you not stumble into the wrong web.
I will just give her a bow and say I've never encountered a web I was not able to cut my way free from. And give her a little samurai nod and then just kind of head on my way. Do that thing where I like turn fast enough for like my dragon mask dread things like flick.
Yeah, you've got some cloth physics.
Yeah, there's some Bloodborne ass cloth physics happening for sure.
Okay,
It's very
awesome. Are you gonna tell your party what's going on?
Oh yeah, as soon as I get back, I'm just gonna come in and
Listen, I got some tea to drop.
I don't mean to disturb you while you are recovering from your whatever.
Terrible
But-
decisions.
Hmm.
They were fine decisions.
Terrible decisions. I drowned.
We caught a glimpse of your homeland. It
got
looks
no
really
glimpse.
pretty.
I
Well-
saw nothing. I just drowned.
You may be interested to hear that the Church of Ivrith has finally landed on a new leader.
Kato?
Yeah.
Surprise.
That's not what she was saying. This is a new church.
Mhm.
That is
The old
true.
church is still fighting.
I should
This is a
mention
new
that,
church.
that this is this is the new Church of Ivrith.
Does that mean there's an old church where there will be people still fighting?
Yes. She has revised the church and basically just said, we're going to do the same thing, but without all the infighting and murder.
That has never happened in the real world once at all. Never once.
Unfortunate. It would have been better if she chose to lead without the backing of the church.
She has positioned
I mean,
herself
I suppose-
by her own will as the leader of this new church.
Hmm.
That's not a bad thing.
Also, you shouldn't have gone up alone. You should have let us know you were going. You could have gotten hurt.
And what would you have done? Fallen
I can read
asleep on
people's
her
minds.
sword?
Almost
Rupee
totally
snoring in the
right.
corner.
I would have known if she was going to attack you or not.
Oh, she would never. do such a thing.
Yes, she
I'm not
would.
completely
Even not
incapacitated.
dishonor herself.
Spicy foods to give you the shits. She would absolutely attack.
I was going to say, she poisoned you with spicy food once.
Mild
If that-
poison between
If that's
two
not
drow.
motive.
Merely a form of social interaction.
It was very unpleasant.
I believe
Kato
you.
aside,
It made
anybody
me
else
feel
could have attacked
an
you.
interdimensional planar being.
You're right. Anyone else could have attacked me, but they didn't. Which means one of two things. Either they have no reason to, which is good, or they have a reason to, and they were too frightened to, which is also good.
Or too smart to. Because doing it out in the open or on your way to see Kato, when we know, or at least people here know, where you were going, would start an entire war.
Precisely.
They may have known and they may have had reason to, but they may have chosen not to. Either way, they chose not to, or they didn't have a reason to, and it doesn't matter, you're here now. But don't be stupid. This is not a time for stupidity.
As I said, it was an extremely calculated decision. Worst case scenario, I die a martyr.
I am simply reinforcing that you don't make stupid decisions, Voss. Okay? Don't do it, and we will try not to do it. I'm going to sleep for 3 days now. Good night.
Well,
I've never once
since
made
we're
a
all
stupid
not
decision.
making stupid decisions,
This is why I'm saying that we all need to be smarter.
oh,
I don't know why saying you're all.
with you.
I've never made a stupid decision in my entire life.
I'm going to
Not
bed.
once.
Rakath is
Rosie's
ignoring
snoring in the
everything.
corner.
Yeah, he's unconscious at this point.
3 days of rest! Voss
Hooray.
the
3
boss.
days later.
Can you give me an investigation check, Voss?
Uh-huh.
You're
Probably
getting
not.
reports from all your little dragonlings patrolling the area, and
Sick.
nothing catches your eye.
Great.
They're all doing their thing.
That's what I have Rakath for, is subterfuge and reports. I don't look at
Can
papers.
I read through these reports now that I
Like, literally, if anything, I would just bring them to Rakath.
Okay, give me an investigation check, Rakath, as you're in your
Wait.
pajamas on your final day of rest.
Oh, Rakath,
Like-
by the way, wears no pajamas. His pajamas are naked.
Like, here's the thing. I'm not smart enough to pick
17.
up on things, but I am wise
Whoa!
enough to know that I'm not smart enough
Plus
to pick
9.
up on those things.
Yeah.
In the reports that Voss gets from his scouts, let's say, there are reports of a begoggled drow woman lurking around an area in the herbalist district, which is the alchemist district, over a particularly irradiated chunk of ruin from the high city that fell, lurking around there.
Tanuma was here. This district, irradiated chunk. She was looking into it. We need to look into this.
Ooh.
More specifically, we need to tell Kato about it.
When is our meeting?
Today.
Hey. In an hour.
Convenient.
In a plot unit.
Can I originally tried to capture some of the energy from one of these chunks, these in a spell storing slot. Can I have another try at that?
If you wanted to not be resting during a day, or wanted to not be here for the meeting today, that involves going across to a different part of the city right now.
Yeah.
Future thing, maybe.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Something to think about.
Yep.
Well, let's conveniently walk over to the house, or we already are probably at the
You'll
house.
be at the house.
When Kato will arrive conveniently any moment now.
Oh,
Oh,
look!
a door!
Is Rakath like the house dog? He just runs around. He's
Oh, someone's here.
Oh,
Rakath is like
At least the goblin isn't the house dog, because that would be offensive.
he's one rung below the house dog.
Yeah.
We don't even have a house dog.
You have a house fish.
That's
No.
true.
Rent is like the house dog that gets afraid when people knock on the door and runs away.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Kill me last.
Runt is Penny.
You
kill me last.
while you're kind of getting ready, Jericho will open the door, not knowing any of your schemes, to Commander Kato, and be pleasantly surprised and as I would say fake smiley, but he likes Kato, so he's perfectly polite and offering tea and all that sorts of things, and brings Kato into your living room with your comfortable little chairs and low little tea table and areas for where Voss would have stored his things, but now he's moved out. Kato was putting a little bit more effort into her appearance. She's not dolled up all the way like a high priestess or anything. A lot of them wear very garish makeup. But there's a little bit more effort into the braiding of the hair. The armor is polished, and maybe some parts of it have been replaced. No helmet. Which means, to compensate for no helmet, the neck guard and things are more purposeful in their armor. That's the main thing you would notice different. And she will bow. We'll say that I do not know if this meeting is business or pleasure. Or, as so often with you, most likely the two intertwined.
Both is good.
Want to pour some
We have
tea?
reports, which are of direct relevance, and also it's just nice to see you.
It is lovely to see you too, Rakath. She will say, sitting in a small chair with a small cup of tea in big armor.
The first time anyone's ever said those words in that order to Rakath, I feel.
Quite possibly.
Jericho said something nice to him recently.
People have been saying nice things
Yeah.
to Rakath recently.
Specifically,
He got
saying
promoted.
It's lovely, specifically saying it's lovely to see you.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
So
She
Rakath
will
is
actually say, she will continue before you go, she will say that, although it might be less appropriate now, it is Lathura's maxim, the 200 line of her book, that the truest family is that which we choose. And for the most of you, I would say that is very appropriate, she says,
Rakath
looking down into her tea.
Yeah. Rakath immediately looks to Yuna with that and just kind of gives a really lopsided smile. And then pulls the reports from Voss's scouts, very specifically the ones that involved Tanuma.
Kato, before we go over this, I looked into the future immediately after we obtained this information. And if we rush in, some things are gonna work in our favor, but other things are gonna go very poorly. So we need to be careful how we handle this.
And I'm going to slide the reports about Tanuma skulking around.
If I'm not mistaken, this description would be Tanuma, who is deceased.
One of the Tanumas.
I believed all 5 of them were dead. All of their bodies were found, burned.
This is number 2.
Yeah, they're not dead.
We met with one in the industrial district when we went to investigate, have those initial political speakings. The second of the Tanumas was there, and what's worse, she was with Sun Elves. Golden devils.
She's going to make a strength check. Her hand tightens on the teacup.
Mm-hmm.
It does not say anything.
Oh dear.
It appears that she was a collaborator. The fifth, Tanuma, was a friend. She is dead. This second, Tanuma has spit on her memory in my mind.
Then there is no conflict in interest.
But as Yuna said, caution. Action with measure.
Conveniently, I'm a military strategist.
Quite
Those are
so.
the paths I have studied, instead of the paths arcane, or of stealth, or whatever it is that your Fae does.
A little bit
I
of
imagine
both.
Rofi's in the corner probably just tinkering on something right now, probably.
She's in
I
the
think-
industrial district with where the Weavers are, which leads me to believe she most likely has allied herself with the Weavers.
She is more than aligned with them. She controls this Ronin who leads them.
And is manipulating the lower people. The lower people do not know what they've done. As
Worth
far as we
noting,
know.
though, there is some discontent between the two. Between the Ronin and herself.
She has merely sold the Weavers on a false idea, one that she cannot hope to deliver on. One
I
that is so
know.
vague, there is no way to even deliver upon it.
I know that woman, the proud Ronin, before she fell. It would make sense that she has manipulated these escaped slaves into an army. She might be able to be turned and to be of purpose again. We will see. If she is a casualty on the strike I will take, I will not mourn for her particularly.
The strike you will take.
I would assume that you would wish to be involved.
Of course. I would like to drive my blade through Tanuma's throat if I have the chance.
A large army would not do so well against Tanuma, neither would a single assassin. A small group would be the most intelligent. It seems that the strategy they've used to distract with a larger military strike might prove quite effective. We do need control of the manufactories. We do need to kill every single last one of those weavers, or imprison and send them to whatever farms they came from.
For what it's worth, I disagree. I think they could be of use. If we kill them, they're of no use to anybody.
Some could be converted into very useful spies, I'm sure. Some could take positions within your own realm, Rakath. I will not disagree with that. But when it comes to a battle, I will not call for my soldiers to lessen their blows against those who orchestrated a strike against the leader and chosen of Ithrith.
But what I am suggesting is do not strike to kill. Don't lessen the blow. You and I both know a blow aimed to kill is one of mercy. Allow them to learn their lesson. Not through fear, not only through pain, but through restructuring. Let them beg for it, ask for it, Let them come back into the fold properly.
And that is how most rebellions end once their leaders are gone. We'll kill
Precisely.
Tanuma, we kill the Ronin.
Or we turn the Ronin.
Or we
if
turn
convenient.
the Ronin, which would make all of this much easier.
Yes.
And then they will be but displacer beasts with their tail between their legs. Easy to control.
So I worry about a strike to the manufactory. Because we do that, we anger people.
Then what is your idea? You have visited them. I trust you know where they may be.
Yes, unfortunately.
That district is a maze with set entrances.
Yes, one of which is a teleportation circle in the particular mansion set that they might be living in.
It
You
would be
know of which
unlikely
I-
they would keep that teleportation circle active, even more unlikely if it was not unguarded, but it might be an idea. I do
It's
have those
possible.
who know how to use this, especially if I can have some conversations with the Palace Arcanum.
Yes. The other aspect, well, we could simply walk in. They want a meeting. Much more
That
dangerous.
does lack the element of surprise, and they will be expecting an assassination attempt from diplomats at all times, as everyone should.
As they should.
We do have an asset of a teleportation circle that would be quite easy to use to get in there. I would say perhaps the 5 of us, perhaps not even I at all. Perhaps just the 4 of you can go in there and deal with Tanuma.
I worry about the Sun Elves, if they're there. And I worry about the other Tanuma that might be there. The half-made clone. Might be full-grown by now. I don't know how the clone works.
I do not care for the more Tanumas, the more danger, but I believe one on their own might be the most dangerous, the most desperate.
Reasonable. So why was she skulking around the alchemy district?
The place is brimming with arcane magic.
Yes.
She is an inventor. She's most likely
Yes.
making weapons and traps and plans and schemes.
Yes. So what can one make with Aether Crystal?
I say as I turn to Yuna more directly.
You know what they can make with Aether Crystal. Everyone knows
They
now.
do. Everyone does now. So
But
how do we guard against
It
that?
can also store energy and not explode, which is powerful in its own right. If you wanted to get Tanuma on her own, you could start spreading rumors about a particularly magical Aether, some such. So trap there.
Tanuma is not a fool. The fact that you saw her out on her own is inherently suspicious. She's been
Yes, it
dancing
is.
around the Daimao soldiers, faking her death, clearly. I believe if she is seen, it is because she wanted to be seen. I have had lots of dealings with this woman. And while she might act like she is not like any other usurper else, she is just as backstabbing, cruel, and cunning.
Worse so. She turned on
Yes.
her own.
A battle
But I
plan.
think that
The 4 of you. If you want to try and act on this intelligence you have, it may prove, but I would be wary on it.
no,
No,
I
I
think
agree.
teleportation circle might be our best bet.
Now, and she will, almost like talking to a child, like lean forward and have a bit of a smile and say, Rofi, you are an inventor
Yes.
like Tanuma. Is it possible that you could deactivate any contraptions that she has?
It's possible. I've been working a lot, and he'll pull out the sword. I've been working a lot on this, and this is her handiwork.
Yes, she does seem
back.
to. She was always working on acidic gauntlets.
Yeah, so I could. I know a bit. I don't know all, but it's definitely more likely.
If that is the same state I have been within when the Warstrider was in control, when there is a teleportation circle and there is a front gate to that estate, and no other easy way in that someone who was not a Drider could take. Which means you block off those two entrances and there is very little that she could do about it. You would be enclosed with whoever is inside. No more reinforcements, which would be wise, because of course if she is alone and the Ronin is alone, they would call for reinforcements. The Weavers might not be of great danger, but they have numbers and they have ogres.
Yes. So how do we cut off the other entrance?
I could send you ground troops that would muddy the battlefield.
Yes,
But it would allow you to not worry about an entrance as they guard the teleportation circle or the door. It would not be wisest to have them do both, and you can worry about the other.
Now, Kato, we would be trusting you quite inherently here.
Yes.
So I'm just going to quickly roll an insight check on Kato.
Mm-hmm.
And I do trust you quite inherently here.
I'm sure you are quite aware of a situation where one individual holds the key. You'd be quite literal. Unless you bring someone with you who could activate the teleportation circle, you would be trapped. Although I have no doubt you could fight your way out of the district, but you might want that exit. If you have a way to communicate with long distances, if you are capable of such spell casting, it would be great. A great advantage if you could contact me if you needed an escape.
And my concern with that is we trust you. We ask you that we need an escape. And rather than allowing us that escape, you close off the teleportation circle on the other side.
Let me make something incredibly clear.
Gonna cast detect thoughts while she speaks.
I do not need any of you.
No,
which
you
is
don't.
why you are still alive. If I did not need you and I thought you a particular danger, you would be dead. But you are not. You are alive because I like the lot of you. And I do not fear you bringing down my regime. I think we can work together. I think we have the same goals. I will not send you one way into that fire.
If Kato wanted us dead, she could have just let that Drider eat us. Instead, she jumped in the way to protect me.
Yes, she did.
She didn't have to do that.
As I said,
Oh, that Drider.
I
Her
am trusting
thoughts
you.
are very carefully placed.
She knows.
It's not the extent of, oh, she's calm. But she's very carefully plotting every motion out, almost as if there's no surface thoughts, and just ones are very basic, you know?
She's learning.
I'll kind of fold my arms at that and look a little grumpy.
I'm going to look to Yuna, and I'm going to silently speak towards her and just say, though I trust her, I think this could fall through at any moment.
So while I have detect thoughts open, I kind of want to do something a little funny. I'm gonna probe deeper into Ratcat's mind, but like I'm pulling up specific thoughts. So it's like he's like hearing like a message, kind of like.
Oh!
Right?
I like it. Okay.
I think that could work between you two. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Weird.
intelligent enough.
It's
To
like
figure
the
out the codes.
Bumblebee.
Like I'm pulling the
method.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be,
Right.
you know, a vague message.
Right.
So
It would be
basically,
possible.
like, we need a plan B, like exit strategy.
Right. Which
Like,
I
we
am
need
definitely
alternative
thinking
strategies.
about all of my different plan Bs as well. Like if you're probing deeper, first of all, I would allow you to probe deeper. Like I wouldn't resist it.
Get in my brain.
Yeah.
Doors
Get in on
open.
me. Yeah. But I would allow you
Everyone.
to enter in. I'm basically just like the deeper thoughts right now are really just we need a plan B. I don't know exactly if this teleportation circle is the best opportunity for us, even though it is the best opportunity to go in. I think it's the worst opportunity to go out, and I think we need a different exit strategy.
Mhm.
And the other deeper thought that's happening right now is I feel guilty.
Oh. I push that one aside for now. Like you feel it like thought come into your mind, like, and at least like push it away, like it
Right.
goes into the corner of your mind.
Yeah.
And I bring up the fact that like Rofi's rope trick, right? And then
Right.
like me and Voss casting darkness,
Right.
right? To make it look
Okay.
like we ran away.
Oh, that is interesting.
Okay.
So kind of like
I am,
we make it look like we ran away, but we're actually like hidden. And then we disappear
Rakath
into
just
darkness.
nods after looking at Yuna here, and then turns back to Kato and just says, "Okay."
I'll give you time to plan on this. I'll prepare. My teleportation circle is in the Garden of Blood. I have not reopened its activities, the Grand Arena, so it
Yeah.
is an excellent staging area for any kind of fight.
Good.
I
She
hope you're
will-
doing
If we
okay,
do
Kato.
not make it out,
She will bow and smile and say to Yuna, "This might be the best time of my life."
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
that's
well, congratulations on your new position. I hope that everything works out for you, and I hope your church is cool.
I
It's very
intend
cool.
to make it very cool. I'm not quite sure of the title of High Paladin yet. Something else might come along that is more fitting, but that is the plan. Through some of you, I have seen great disservice the city has done to people. That slowly can be fixed by the new church. Once we have eradicated this traitor, at least, she will stand fully and turn to leave.
if we die, Kato,
I will continue your program you are running, Makath.
thank you. More important than that, communicate with those of the Azad Enclave of Paradise, the Ebamari, and the Dwarven strongholds. Bring them together. Bring them together for what we all know must happen.
She nods and leaves.
Can I roll insight on her before she leaves? I just wanna
Please
see
do!
what that little hunt is thinking. It's the same role that Rakath had.
She's hard to read.
Yeah, she's like a book in a different language.
With her making that agreement, I'm wanting to. Can I roll an insight again?
You can
But
roll another
specific-
insight, yeah.
Yeah, on the specific there moment. That's better.
You
17.
can tell she hasn't really thought about the Treaty of the Deep yet and how that all sort of connects, but it also hasn't really become relevant yet. She is totally ready for a sort of war, but there's a...
Yeah.
She's being a little guarded with all of you. very just careful. She's being careful.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's trying her best.
I think she's a power tripping maniac, but that's just me.
No, I don't think so. I think she's just trying to be what people need right now.
Yeah, a well-adjusted servant of the mad spider goddess.
Mhm.
Hopefully the blood sacrifices go well this year.
I think she's
Draco's
fearful.
in the corner with surprised Pikachu face. Like, what? You can't say that.
I think she's afraid.
Oh, of course she's afraid. She's trying to cling to a world that no longer exists.
It's not just that. It's all her stuff, too. She hasn't thought it all the way through. She's tried to plan things 10 steps ahead. She's only got 3.
And
Well-
this is the downfall of the samurai in the city. They do what they are told and think beyond nothing else.
She's trying, though.
And this is the first time I feel she's ever had to try.
Well,
This-
maybe it will do her good.
This is a good place for a break. You can side talk later. After a few moments.
This is
Swish.
good news because I really have to pee.